All right, go ahead, Johnny.
Alright, hey folks, my name is Johnny Vance. I'm here hailing from Tampa, Florida. I'm with Tampa Bay Film Circle. I'm coming to do some interviews. So, in that Q&A here at the North Film Festival, alright, so we have a couple filmmakers up here. We just watched, let's see, I'm blind without my glasses, so we just watched Tapped Out.
Yes.
Alright, The Cottage, and then also Brazy. Alright. All excellent films. We can all relate to some of those situations. But please, tell me your name, tell me about the film, and give me a little bit of lesson of what you learned from filming this film.
Robert Monaghan, filmmaker, director of Tapped Out. Inspiration came from meeting a really gorgeous bartender who said he was a tap dancer. And so I was like, okay. You look at him, you don't think he's a tap dancer because he's so big and everything. So I said, okay, I want to see him tap dancing wearing nothing but a Speedo. Boom, the film was born.
That was pretty awesome. You definitely had me tapping my feet back there. You definitely did. You know, when you're doing those, watching the karate movies and you're, I was doing the same thing with my tap dancing. And then over here for a cottage, same thing, your name, about the film, and a lesson that you learned from this.
My name's Brianna Calla, and the film is kind of about your inner anxiety manifesting itself in the outside, and like kind of controlling your life. And we filmed it on Cape Cod, so I learned a lot about like filming on location and like finding people and resources local to the production, because we were all filmmakers from New York, so going out,
Nice.
working with people local to the Cape. So
Yeah, it takes a lot of networking to do that.
Yeah.
Go out to bars, restaurants, or schools.
Facebook helps. Facebook.
Good, that's good. That's a good resource, definitely. All right, and Brazen?
Yeah, so my name is Brian Ribeiro. I'm the writer-director of Brazing. Then I'm going to segue to the actor here, of course, for Brazing. I want to get him some spotlight as he deserves. But I guess the lesson that I learned, well, there were several for production and post, but I think what it came down to was trying to get a team together with this level of denseness in the short film. It's one of the longer ones here. It's one of the longer ones I've seen in general at 19 minutes. So trying to make a story compact while trying to tell a story about mob mentality, food and art culture, and family dynamics is in itself a huge lesson for me, and I hope we strike that balance tonight well for everyone here.
Definitely, you definitely did. I liked that the volunteer vibe that you had. You know, I got confused at the end part. I was like, oh wait, it's not exactly what I was expecting. Okay, but the volunteer part of it, where he wanted to volunteer and help others, I thought that was a good thing. Me myself, I'm a volunteer to film festivals. You know, I've done I think like 8 film festivals that I volunteer at. So, you know, and then coming from a head injury, you know, I learned that helping others helped me. So I related well with that too. So.
Yeah,
Excellent.
And of course, the father of the actual short film, telling everybody how shit they are.
Yeah.
Thinking about their food.
You know, one thing I learned about movie magic, it ain't magic.
Yeah.
That was not padding. The camera does add like 15 minutes. I'm trying to look away.
I believe it.
You know, it's pretty cool. So, you know, it's the dynamic between me and Conroy. It's like I have a son myself, and sometimes, you know, you fall flat on your face trying to deal with each other more times than you care to think about, and then you find a common ground somewhere and you bond on that. It might be sports, it might be arts.
Cooking
is an art.
culinary.
You know,
Yes,
more or less.
it is. Yeah.
Jonas, how many takes did it take that you eating all the food? One take? Just one.
Okay.
Just,
All right.
because I had to eat all day.
Just starve yourself just so you can fill that one scene.
Like a
right?
cat commercial,
Johnny, let's get a few questions for
Okay, yeah,
one of each movies. There are 3 movies, so one question for The Courage. Anyone?
Okay, anyone want to volunteer for a question?
You produced the film, right? How was the process? Easy? Difficult? You managed tell us a little bit.
It wasn't easy, but it was a learning experience. Like I said, like we met a lot of people on the Cape, so they helped make it possible. And like we're able to get a lot of donations from like local restaurants to cut our
That's
budget
cool.
and stuff like
That's
that.
really
so,
cool.
Awesome.
yeah, really trying to
Everyone
figure
wants
out.
to be in a movie, right? Okay, well, that's not really a movie, but yeah.
So that was really helpful.
Cool. One question for bracing. Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Tony, how did you get into character? How did you get yourself ready to get into that character? And did you relate to the character?
Yeah, as I said previously, I have a son, so I've had 1,000 conversations with him about life and where do you want to go and who do you want to be in Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and stuff. And I've had someone have it with me, so that was easy to channel. Like maybe if I didn't have any kids, I would have had to dig for it some other kind of a way. But I kind of like I pulled off my back and forth with my son that I've had over the years, and you know I found a grounding point right there. You know, and I've never lost a wife, but I think this is probably what it feels like. This is what I've been through my own grief, so this is what grief feels like. So maybe not that loss, but this loss, and I'll parlay it to that. These things.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Braised, the writer-director, that was a pretty heavy nod to Scientology with the cans. Yeah, I'm curious how, if you have an experience and if you have anyone come after you.
No, man. So I think a lot of actors also relate with like communes and you know, mob mentalities. You meet just like a group of people who just like, hey, let's do this thing, and there's some level of subterfuge there. Yeah, a big inspiration was a documentary on Scientology, but you can, I think, like stamp that onto anything, like Twitter, mobs, like, you know, political shifts in the dynamic we have today and stuff like that. Nobody's come after me.
Not yet.
David Miscavige. What was I going to say? Yeah, I had I've just, you know, lost friends to sort of group things. It doesn't have to be anything specific, but it's just they lose some level of independence, and that always sucks. And you never want something like that. You just want to be able to ask questions and not have to endear yourself to some power without losing yourself in the process. And that's what always scared me growing up. Like I've had some experiences, and I just felt part of some amorphous blob, and I just didn't like that. So, and I channeled that fear and anxiety into this film for sure.
Yeah, that's great. Did you make that? And did you have someone make that a tool, the cans, I guess?
Yeah, so that was commissioned from somebody, I think, funny enough, from Florida. They shipped it out from there. He just made some cool props, and I was just like, what's something that looks industrial, but like maybe a little, that could be, you know, actually functional, and that's, yeah. So that was all hodgepodge together.
So, and one more question for Robert. Robert, how was that? Did you choreography everything, or you was a moment of improvising? But because I think the cats they match pretty good. So tell us about that.
Well, Joe Oster, the dancer, he came up with that.
Gotcha.
I'm not a choreographer, and I said, just make something that's gonna make you look good. We're gonna have 4 cameras on you.
Nice.
You can't gain a pound, which I wasn't worried about. You know, he works out all the time, and he worked his butt off, literally. He would do. He had a really strong work ethic. I mean, he would do a step over and 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 12 more times before he was satisfied with it. And then he would ask me, what do you think of that? I go, maybe add a turn with it or something like that. And we met 3 times a week, 2 hours. The day we shot it, which was right upstairs, the theater upstairs right here. It was a 9-hour shoot day, and he did that full routine over 30 times that day and never complained once.
All right, so round of applause, Johnny, for these amazing filmmakers. We're very short. You have to be very briefly because we're really running out of time. But we not yet, please. I'd like to know when it's out. Yes, go ahead. Very
real
quick.
quick question is about the cottage, the corporeal manifestation of anxiety. You playing that part, how did that, how did you access whatever that is that drums, whatever it is that drums that up for you? And I guess, and that's the question. How, your relationship to your own anxiety, for instance, like what did you source for that?
Yeah, actually it was really for the other character, so I play inside attic woman and outside woman, and then the other character is my fiance, so I was just like, a little bit of real life into it, but we both suffer a lot from anxiety, so it was easy to channel it more, but the inside person was who I really identified with, of being able to, being scared to leave your house, but knowing you have to, sort of thing, so it was easy to channel.
She was an agoraphobic schizophrenic.
Those were like that was all in her mind. Yeah.
All right. Round of applause, everybody. Thank you so much.